Hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Homo. I am Phil, joined by my wonderful co-host Isaac. And I know it's been a minute since
Oh,
oh, yes.
yeah.
um,
Hey.
yeah. And I know it's been a minute since we recorded last year, so we're kind of back and new year, looking forward to um, recording more shows and covering more content. And in
New
fact,
Year,
we
new
actually
us.
have a special,
I said
what'd
New
you
Year,
say?
new us. Isn't that what everyone says that?
New us,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. New Year, new us. So
Yeah. So I mean, that's the attitude I'm approaching for this year. Also for this episode, we have a special guest. So I'll let Isaac kind of introduce that person once they get here. But just to catch up, how have you been, Isaac? What's been new?
I've been really good. I mean, the holidays was a little bit sad for me because I had a passing in my family.
Hmm.
So things were a little bit somber. Um, but I don't know. Since ever since the new year, like I really feel like different, like kind of invigorated to do like bigger and better things in the new year. I got a I did the most cliche thing.
What's that?
I got a gym membership.
So
Oh,
just tell me you're not going to be amongst the millions of Americans that get a gym membership and then
and never
by
go.
February.
No, no, no. I've totally planned it all out. I have my first day I think it's 5 days. Yeah, so
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to do some home working out before I go. So I don't look like, stuff like I don't know, someone who's like totally out of shape, which I am. But yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
congrats.
I'm doing the usual, get my finances together, eat more healthy, less red meat.
Yeah, yeah. All things you start off with. But
Yeah,
I do wish you success and
thanks.
in full support of you pursuing this new commitment for your fitness. So, not that I've ever thought you were an unhealthy person anyway, but
I
hey,
don't really
the more
feel
the
like
better.
I am like terribly unhealthy, but I know that I could do better. Definitely, I could do better.
Yeah, yeah. Well, outside of that, for me, let me see, the holidays were pretty busy. I was in Dallas for
Mhm.
Christmas, which was really nice.
Right.
And um, kind of on the same vein as you, I have been joined a gym, but I'm recommitting myself to just a more fit lifestyle.
Mhm.
So this is not an endorsement, and I did not place this here like to present this for this show. I just read the book, but I got Tabitha Brown's cookbook for Christmas.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I've
Okay.
been, yeah, yeah. So I've been working on just learning new ways to prepare food. Cause I love to like cook, but like I want to cook in a way that's just a little bit more healthier.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of learning some new ways to do that. So that's been my thing. I've been on a diet. Let me see, for the next 90 days, well, starting last week, I want to only prepare my meals at home. No eating out, no fast food. As much as I can help it. I know I have to do some traveling next month,
Mhm.
but even within that, like just choosing healthy options, no red meat, salad, vegetables, like just trying to stick to that and just seeing how it makes me feel. Like 90 days out of the 30
Yeah,
plus
like
years that I've been alive is
mhm.
nothing.
Not a lot to ask,
So
not at all. I mean, look,
yeah,
if you can eat horribly for like a year straight, you can give yourself 90 days to eat nice, eat clean.
yeah. I mean, it's just more so making a promise to yourself. And then I've also signed up for 8 races, running races this year.
Eight?
Uh, 8, yeah.
Oh,
So I'm doing a half marathon on the 28th of this month.
okay.
Uh, the Shamrock Shuffle, the hot chocolate run. I'm doing 2 half marathons, a few like little 5Ks. I think there's like a few night runs and stuff that I signed up for. And then I'm doing the Detroit Marathon in October.
Whoa, you're gonna
Yeah.
be a running bitch for
And I just came back from a run. And I just came back from a run. Like, here, I still have my running shoes and everything. So,
well, I mean, you should probably sleep in them. I mean, you're gonna need to like literally do everything in running shoes this year. So you might as well not even take them off.
weddings, church, I'm just keeping them on. They hug the ground easier. I don't get that slide in the dress shoe. So yeah, so that is my that's my New Year's resolution overall. And I know also just for the show, like we are certainly looking forward to just getting on here a little bit more and talking
Absolutely.
about different shows and things that we're interested in. So I'm looking forward to just doing more, letting all of you all know no homo more. So
More. No more.
focus on the no part. The
Focus on the
KNOW.
no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So wonderful. I know that Brandon is not here. He had something that got him a little tied up. So hopefully we'll get him back when we record next week or so. To all those that are looking for Brandon. But Isaac is just showing me today, which is fine,
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I mean,
Be back.
and Brandon's this isn't Destiny's Child. He hasn't gone anywhere. there hasn't been a mutiny or anything.
Yeah. We didn't talk to Matthew about anyone. Okay, so that has not happened.
Mr. Wells.
Oh, good.
Hilarious.
Let's see. Well, I wanted to ask you before we introduce our guests, with the mayoral race here in Chicago, does Willie Wilson have your vote this year or this election?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I don't like.
Because
I haven't decided on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, that was completely a joke, but I definitely
I
want you staying abreast to like
literally
all of, yeah, because there's so many voices talking about different things happening in terms
I've
of,
never voted for the man, and he's run for everything,
everything.
outside of King of the Universe, but he's run for everything, and that's his prerogative. He never really his politics are more Republican, but
Yeah.
but he does do a lot for the poor and disenfranchised, I will say that. But I honestly don't know who I'm voting for. This is really weird.
Okay, well, I won't put you on the spot.
Oh no, I wouldn't tell, but yeah.
Yeah. But is anyone out there that you think that you're keeping an eye on, just like in terms of just messaging, not endorsing, just looking at, I mean, I've heard a few things from well, certainly I've seen the ads from Lori Lightfoot about Chuy Garcia. So that was,
that's
classic Chicago politics.
That's just because he's the front runner, I believe, right now. I mean, poll wise.
Okay.
Whatever. I mean, they're gonna try to say the worst things about each other, and it's gonna get worse as the election gets near.
Goes along.
But what's the guy? Brandon? What's his name? I don't know his last name. Brandon.
Is he from that organization?
No. He's running for mayor. I don't know what I don't know his full story, but I see a lot of his commercials, and I don't know, like um his policies would seem to align with mine, but he I don't know, it's kind of vague. Like he's gonna solve crime, but I don't know how he's gonna solve crime. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's gonna, solve
Yeah,
homelessness, but
that's, I mean, because he has the answer.
right.
Well, he's the Cook County commissioner. Because so far it's 9 candidates. It's Cam Buckner,
Mhm.
Judy Garcia, Jamal Green, Brandon Johnson, Sophia King, and of course, the incumbent Lori Lightfoot, Roderick Sawyer, Paul Vallis, and he's run a lot as well, and then Willie Wilson. So
Yeah, I facilitated a mayoral forum the last election, and
mhm.
Paul Vallis was like, well, I did too, but Paul Vallis was at both of them. Like he doesn't like skip a beat. He was at the one I did for um well for Equality Illinois. He was there, um, you know, trying to get, the LGBTQ vote. And then when I saw him the next time, he was at um the Association for Nigerian Professionals, you know.
Mhm.
He was there, you know. And so yeah, I mean he gets around. I just I just feel like he's just running just to be running though. All the time he's running for everything. So what are you passionate about if you're running for everything?
That's a great question.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
is it just the need to the desire to get in to make a difference? Like I'm gonna get in any way that I can and just kind of work it once I get my foot in the door, or like what you're saying, like is each position uniquely passionate about each position that you're running for, or is it just a way for you to get into, the
right,
mainstream city
get
politics?
into give it to the machine. Like, I mean, they're running it from everything from mayor to actual dog catcher and everything in between. Like, I want to know what are you really passionate about? Like, what do you intend to do? Like, how do you intend to change things? How do you intend to help? You know,
Yeah. But like you said, it's probably going to get ugly before it gets nicer as we get further into the election. So
oh, for sure.
we'll see. Those political ads will be entertaining, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and then they'll play every 5 seconds. So
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
not for
yeah.
nothing, because I don't. That's why I don't watch local news. Like I don't watch local TV at all. Sad to say.
Well, I mean, I don't either. I mean, I'll be afraid to leave my house. So
Exactly. You'll be traumatized. You'll
yeah,
literally be
you
traumatized.
will be
Like the
traumatized.
PTSD of it
Yeah,
all, especially living in Chicago. Like, oh God, no. I
yeah,
would never step out of my house.
you'll be afraid to walk down the hall of your home. That's how
Pretty much.
traumatized it
Pretty
is.
much. And I talked to my mother lives in the burbs, but she watches local news every day, several times a
Mhm.
day. And when I talk to her, because I talk to her daily, it's always like she always asks, like, did you hear about that baby who got shot in the head while he was, just in the stroller? Or I mean, it's always something like that.
Mhm.
And I always have to respond the same way, like, well, mom, no, I don't look at local news because I just
Right.
don't. It's like if they literally follow that if it bleeds, it leads, kind of a scenario.
Yeah.
And the first 15, 20 minutes of the news is horrible. It's like the worst things that happened in the city. And then they give you the weather and sports.
And at the end,
And it's all like, come on.
they may sprinkle in like an inspirational story, you know, someone fed a puppy, you know, at a park or
At
something,
the
and
very end,
the
the
very
last
end,
30
you know,
seconds. Okay, until then, until next time. Have a great night. Tomorrow
or
at 6
now that
a.m.
the
alarm going
5:30,
to go.
yeah, but people watch, and I guess that's just what helps to make our city, I guess, notorious for, you know, all negative purposes.
Yeah.
Um, but since you don't watch the local news that much, I wanted to ask you, I've been wanting to ask you about your thoughts about the Megan, no, let me correct myself. The Tory Lanez trial with him
Oh,
shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Because
okay,
people were calling it the Megan Thee Stallion trial, and it was like
right.
on
Okay.
trial, you know. So yeah.
Um, well, I mean, I never ever doubted her. And I don't know
Yeah.
where, like, the whole conspiracy theory came up that, she was like lying about being shot. I mean, come on.
I mean,
So
who benefits from that?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, why would she have to tell a lie that big, being as big of a celebrity as she is? And who's lying about being shot in the foot? I mean, it's just so bizarre the way
Yeah.
the internet just went crazy with it, and I think it became like a misogynistic thing, because I think a lot of men, especially Black men, were, and I saw for myself, on social media, just really dragging her. Like, I mean, even like rappers, Drake, the baby. Like, I mean, it was serious, and it's like, why couldn't you just believe her and give it the benefit of the doubt? Now that the verdict is out and he's been found guilty, people are still saying, oh, I still think she's lying. So you just wanted to
Well,
think,
50 Cent, he just apologized
oh, did
because, you
he?
know, they released the actual, like all the evidence is being released and the tape, there's a recorded phone call from him in jail to the best friend, the then best friend, Kelsey,
Mhm.
him basically like confessing to doing it, like in so many ways. He didn't say outright that he did it, but someone that was remorseful for harming someone, like that was basically the conversation.
Mhm.
And so 50 Cent recently apologized to her. So maybe this could be the start of other people falling in, you know, following that, because like you mentioned, I mean, you just kind of compound the harm if somebody hurts you and then you have all these people telling you that it never happened and you're a liar and you're a whore and you just want to put a Black man in jail because people just get some type of euphoric high from doing that, or, you know, I don't know. Like
Yeah,
that's
like,
a hot
wow,
thing
that's
to
what
do.
she gets up on, is putting Black men in jail.
Yeah, I mean, even though there are people doing that themselves, they need help. They need someone to help put you in jail. So I don't know. It's really interesting how,
Sometimes, believe it or not, they even involve real actions and real crimes.
yeah, but I think to a degree it talks about, it kind of shows a split in the community because there were so many people that were in support and so many that were against, and other women that were against. And you just wonder, like, because I think a lot of people have experienced violence, especially in the Black community, by whether it be a Black male or someone else within the community. And so to all of a sudden, it's like, well, there's no crime. They're never capable of harming someone. Like, okay. So I don't know. I think it kind of exposed a bigger mindset that maybe needs to be discussed or talked about when it comes to believing women and violence against women, and how without believing victims and holding people who cause harm accountable, that there really is not a way to prevent it, you know, from the cycle from continuing. So yeah.
Yeah, and this thing isn't, yeah, you say women, it's not even just Black women, it's women in general. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
society doesn't ever, they never believe women, you know. I mean, and God forbid you're a Black woman, they're gonna believe you even less.
Right. Yeah, but now that's becoming a conversation more, which I think is helpful, and certainly wishing the best for Meg. So actually our special guest is here in the waiting room.
Okay.
Isaac, did you want to, I can let him in, and
Yeah.
Isaac, do you want to introduce him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there we go. Hey, Ken.
Hey.
Oh, there we go. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Well,
Oh,
I will let Isaac introduce you, Ken, properly. So thanks first for joining us. And Isaac, I'll let
course.
you take it away.
hey, well, first of all, Mr. Mejia-Beal, thank you for finally gracing our show with your presence.
Anytime.
Okay. Um, and before Ken gives us his amazing bio, I want you to give that yourself. I don't want to I don't want to mess it up. So, but I just want to let the audience know kind of how we met, and how we became friends. I had a show a few years ago called The Sip, and we had Ken on as a guest, and so we really hit it off. In some way, we ended up hanging out
Mhm.
and going to God, I don't remember the restaurant. It's across the street from.
It's like 2 blocks from your house.
No,
Wasn't it?
no,
Oh,
not at all. It was
okay.
no, that's not true. No, it was in Boys Town. It was right across the street from the bar because we went to LGBTQ storytelling. Do you remember
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay, so we did that, and then we discussed having a political podcast of our own,
Mhm.
and we did that. It was called Snatched,
Yeah.
and our first guest was, then she was just mayoral candidate
Yes.
Lightfoot, but she soon became Mayor Lightfoot.
Yes.
And everyone that was on our show won their races.
They sure did. Every last one of them.
Every last one of them. Okay, so anyway, that's that's my little backstory. But please introduce yourself, sir.
So Ken Mejia-Beal, I am the chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage County. I am the first and only openly LGBT chair in the state of Illinois for any political party. I'm the first chair of color here in DuPage. I'm the first chair under the age of 40. And I think most of the collar counties started off just getting involved in politics, trying to do my best to help out disenfranchised communities, food deserts, HIV/AIDS. And, I got tired of politicians saying, we'll get to it later. So I said, well, we're going to get to it now if I'm in charge. So I took a bigger role in politics. I ran for office myself. I ran in one of the most conservative districts in the state of Illinois. I lost by only 2,000 votes, and I turned that around. And now I'm here, and I do what I do because there are not enough faces that look like mine and that look like yours in the room. So here we are in the room, and I didn't, wait to be invited to a table. I brought my own table. It's a fold-up table, but I brought it myself.
It stands and it's sturdy.
It is.
And it's mobile. You can take it with you.
I can take it mobile. I can take it everywhere I go.
It's key. It's key.
Yes.
Especially if you have to leave in a hurry.
Which happens often. Yes.
Well, at least you're not picking it up and hitting nobody with it. So that's,
Right.
We haven't reached that point of politics yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's coming, but No,
Okay,
but
so
I thank you for having me, guys. I really love what you guys are doing here. You know, not to fanboy, but I don't do podcasts or shows or radio that I don't personally listen to. So I am really happy to be here.
Oh,
oh,
wow.
thank you.
That means everything to hear that. Thank you.
Oh, really, thank you so much.
Flattered.
I'm a subscriber on YouTube.
Ah, sure, sure. So, I have a question for you.
Sure.
How do you feel the climate is, the political climate is where you live, where you represent people? What do you feel is I don't know, what do you feel is the difference between maybe now and the previous administration, where you live?
Got it. So DuPage it used to be the second reddest county in the country.
Hmm.
And folks forget that. It was the second reddest in the entire country behind Orange County. So Democrats getting these wins, it's relatively new here. And in the beginning of this cycle in particular, I was expected to lose big time. I would get emails daily saying, you are going to lose, you're going to lose. And we ended up doing better than we ever have before. And I credit that to suburban voters understanding diversity a little bit better now. I think that it's easy to demonize the other when you don't know the other. But when you know folks of color, when you know folks that are LGBT, it changes your perspective. I think the biggest change at DuPage is not necessarily that people switch parties, is that folks moved in from all over our country, all over the state, and introduced themselves authentically and authentically and genuinely. There was a period of time when, and you guys know this, when Black folks moved into white communities, we were told to do our best to blend in, to acclimate. And what started to happen, especially here in DuPage, is folks of different backgrounds came in and didn't acclimate. It was, this is who we are, this is what we represent, and now we have, we have a chapter of the NAACP, we have pride groups, we have organizations that support immigration, we have Latinx groups, and it's because we no longer are acclimating. We are here and we deserve a voice. And having that voice helped educate folks that didn't know our stories and didn't know what we were going through. So that's the climate here, is a place of change because of education and diversity.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Is that kind of shift, is that what inspires you or keeps you inspired to stay within politics?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot imagine. So when I first decided to run, and Isaac can tell you this, I was the underdog. I was laughed at. They said there's no way that, I was actually told directly, there's no way that the folks in this county are going to vote for a queer Black person to lead them. That was an exact quote from, another Democrat. I use that in quotation marks. I won in a landslide. And when I ran again, I won at a bigger margin. And that is and it doesn't mean, and I say this every day, it doesn't mean that people fell in love with me and respect me, because I can assure you, every time somebody gives me a standing ovation, 3 people stand up behind me to put a knife in my back. But what keeps me going, because it is what it is, it's politics. And there is still rooted racism, homophobia, all that stuff. But what keeps me going is I get emails, DMs from young men of color, young LGBT kids, Black men that want to get involved in politics, that say, we are watching you. Thank you so much for what you do. That is what keeps me involved. And seeing the growth and seeing the change keeps me involved. You can't, I don't know who said it, but haters gonna hate, but you can't listen to them. That's the trick. You get the knife out of your back and you keep moving, and you do what you do for the people that are depending on you.
You have stressed how you know, people backstab you and all that.
Oh yeah.
And send you like, these crazy emails. Do you ever feel like afraid or fear of any kind, like in this climate because of, like kind of like what's going on in the country?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I got a death threat just last summer. Someone said they were watching me and my spouse and they were gonna do horrible things. I had to do a police report, and people threaten. My safety has been threatened a couple of times. Does it scare me though? And the answer to that is no. I'm not afraid because we live in a society of keyboard gangsters. Um,
Yeah.
I post where I am, and don't let the tie and don't let the zip code fool you. At the end of the day, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I don't have to get ready. I'm always ready. And I bench press a lot. So if that's how you want to operate, we can operate in that way. However, I choose to operate and guide myself through love and through truth. But I think the bigger problem when it comes to safety and feeling safe and not feeling safe, I always feel safe because I know that I lead by example. I can't go out there and be an inspiration and talk about being a role model to anybody if I'm afraid to show my face somewhere because of what other people may or may not do. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing what I do, and I'm always ready.
Well, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's
That
what
is
they say.
correct.
So, I understand.
That is correct.
And as we look at the start of a whole new year, just generally, like, what are some things that you're looking forward to going into this year?
So number one, more diversity. That's always number one. And when I say diversity, it's not just about finding people of color and LGBT folks and putting them on a ballot. For me, it's about finding qualified people that have been overlooked simply because of who they are and giving them a platform to be who they are with unapologetically. So that's number one. Number two, we have a lot of organizations, especially in the suburbs, that are hate groups, that are anti-everything. My goal is to look those organizations in the face and say, we're going to keep beating you at your own game because we are smarter than you and we can speak better to the folks within our community. So that's number two. And number three is to do it and be proud of ourselves when we do it. There's so many folks that have won campaigns and you look back at it and you think, well, you won, but you had to sacrifice everything to get there, i.e. Kevin McCarthy. I don't want people to win in a sphere where you have to sacrifice and give up everything you believe in, because that ain't a win. So what we're trying to do moving in 2023 and beyond is actually win, holding on to our integrity, holding on to our values, and holding on to our identities.
Wow. It's funny that you said Kevin McCarthy. I made this post on Facebook about a week ago, and I said Kevin McCarthy has been crowned America's next top bottom, and
I
that's
saw
because, and that's because I mean he's literally going to get screwed, like he is, because if he doesn't do what the far right MAGA people want him to do, they're going to call for his resignation.
Because he gave up everything to
Gave
get
up everything.
everything. Yeah.
One person can say, nope, I have a vote of no confidence in this man. Let's take a vote.
Yep.
Right.
That's what happens.
Anytime.
And that's what happens when you give up everything. You haven't won it. Because Speaker McCarthy has won absolutely nothing. He's won nothing. God bless him.
He's on the seat sitting behind Biden in the State of the Union addresses. So
maybe, who knows if they'll, I mean, the vote of no confidence can go up tomorrow.
exactly. Might not even make it there.
So yeah,
Right.
Good for him though.
Wow.
Good for him.
Bless his
a nicer person.
Well, certainly for folks that are within the Chicagoland area, we do have, some upcoming elections potentially that are going to be pretty important.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of get not only your perspective about the importance of course, staying true to your civic duty and of course voting, but adding a twist to it for any of our LGBTQIA individuals in the community, our folks of color, maybe like why it's a little bit more important for those folks especially to get involved and make sure that their vote is counted.
Yeah, so municipal elections are the lowest voter turnout across the country. And this is where we end up getting bad government, is because no one is showing up to vote. There are folks that their name is the reason they win. They're not doing the work, they're not representing the people, and they're gonna keep getting elected because we're not coming out to vote. And a bigger problem, we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but I'll kind of put it out there a little bit, is we tend to focus on bigger elected officials, president, Congress, all that good stuff. Where a lot of folks fall short is we will blame Congress folks for stuff that literally is the responsibility of your alderperson, of your county person. So we have to get involved, but we have to educate ourselves on who's doing what. Because you would never call an electrician because your toilet is backed up. But that's what we do in government every day. It's like, why is the president not fixing my property taxes? That's not what he's there for. But number two, for marginalized people, oh my God, we have to stay active in politics, because as soon as we're not, we are forgotten. We are not a part of the conversation. When we talk about any groups of people, if those groups of people are not in the room, we are left out instantly. Just recently, I think it was a couple of months ago, there was the leaked tape from the city council in Los Angeles, where we had leaders making disparaging comments about African Americans and folks that work with African Americans. And the reason they feel so comfortable doing that, there were no African Americans around. There are no Black people in that room or a part of that conversation. When you're not in the room and you're not a part of conversation, folks with bad intentions are not only leaving you out of the conversation, they're putting you in the conversation to badmouth you, to take things from you. So we have to do better at voting in municipals, and we have to run authentically.
You mean the Santos way?
No, the opposite of that. Is that even his name?
Santos?
Is that his name? Is that his real name?
I don't know.
Right.
I just say allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
That brings me to something. I mean, like running authentically. Like what he did in this election is something that would have. I mean, it's unthought of. I mean,
I cannot believe it. It's actually unbelievable. He's lied about. I mean, and I'm not even making up the name thing. I read somewhere that might not be his name.
I did.
Yeah, so because he did an interview a couple of years ago where he had a different name. So I don't know this guy's name. I know he's lied about places where he's worked. He lied about his mom dying on 9/11. He said she was in the towers, but she died like years later. He's a liar. And I'm not even going to, I know everybody's doubling down on the lie part, which we should. But my thing is, you have to think of the level of arrogance to tell these huge lies that can be fact checked by anybody at any time.
Yeah.
His arrogance is astounding. It's astounding.
But I think we have the political climate to thank for that.
We do.
In the past, it would never have been tolerated, no matter what political party.
Right.
Now it's like, lying is the new norm because of a certain person. And now it's just accepted. Like, I mean, he literally lied. This is so funny. He was representative-elect, right? So
yes,
he went on social media. We didn't even have a speaker yet, so no one had been sworn in. he went on social media and said he had just been sworn in.
I saw that. And it's kind of like, well, you couldn't have, because I'm watching it.
And
I'm
there's
watching
no
this
speaker.
debacle. There's no, you know, he thinks that we're all idiots. I think he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, for one.
Yeah.
But it also lends to people will only attempt to get away with what they think they can get away with.
Mhm.
So I don't know what his background is. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what his background is, because he's lied about it so much. But the question goes to, what is it about that district that compelled themselves to vote for this guy? Because minus all the lies, even during the campaign, he was not a good candidate. So what is the issue that popped up to make you guys put faith and trust into this person? I don't get it.
And that's the thing. It feels like people are more concerned or wanting to put people who are grossly unqualified for political office into office, because it feels like this everyman thing. Well, you know, if you can get in with no qualifications, so can I, or
Correct.
something like that. And I remember, at least coming up, you know, seeing politics as a way that you only wanted the best people,
Yes.
even to agree if that wasn't true or people found out it wasn't, whatever, you had your own little backdoor stuff, but presenting the best people to lead, when now everyone just wants the common guy to kind of just have a position and have a space and just kind of figure it out, you know, on good old hard work and
Well,
America.
if I can say, because I think this is the crux of the problem, is folks want to vote for people that they like, that they can hang out with, that they can have a beer with. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But the problem is a lot of our most qualified folks are not people that are extroverts. They're not people that you might necessarily want to have a beer with. They are people that are good at the damn job, though. They're good at writing legislation. They're good at doing what needs to be done. I think we have to, as Americans, because this is an American problem, we have to learn to separate what we think from what we feel. I can feel that one candidate is a great candidate. We listen to the same music. We're from the same area, blah, blah, blah. And I can also think that the other candidate is more qualified for the job and vote for that person. We have to learn how to separate our thoughts from our feelings.
Yeah, especially with how people really, to that point, want to feel so relatable to an individual, or even back in the day where you had to be super perfect, even that was packaging. It wasn't necessarily how people really were, you know, with the nuclear family and the dog and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's not even realistic for a lot of folks, you know, but just to you say, getting people who are genuine but are also good at what they do and know what they're doing, so that way we're not dealing with legislation that's going to affect people for generations and having to undo it because of a voter's feelings, you know.
Correct. Yes, when you go to the voter box, you should really be voting on your thoughts. 100%.
How do people, oh, go ahead, Isaac, I'm sorry.
You know, and I just understand like how people, I mean, there's one extreme where, you know, people want someone who's just like them in office, and that's okay. You know,
it's cool.
But then like there's this other extreme where this person would never even break bread with you, and you're voting for them. You're insisting on voting for them, and I mean, they would never have the money problems that you have, because they're millionaires and they're billionaires, and like there are so many people in Congress that are millionaires. You know.
Well, I always say, because what you're talking about is something I call the Donald Trump kind of playbook. And I call it that because when you think about presidents, after they're done, they have to go back to their home state. Like President Obama is so welcome in Illinois. Yeah. President Bush, so welcome in Texas. President Clinton, still very welcome in Arkansas. Donald Trump ran from New York. he gets booed there every time he goes. The people that he riled up are people he has no desire to be associated with. When you, I heard some of the transcripts from January 6th, and he's like, wow, these people look unwashed or something. Like, yeah, these are your people. These are your people. He doesn't want to associate with those people. That's why he ran away to this castle in Florida. It's a creation of his own imagination, which is kind of a metaphor for his very existence. But he moved to this place where he's so segregated from everybody because he has no desire to associate with normal people. No desire. No.
And I feel like, oh my God, like these people are willing to die for him. And
Yes.
he wouldn't even spit on them if they were on fire.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
And
It's
all
like they don't ever see him like in a social setting, like just hanging out with regular people.
No. And because he doesn't.
Because he doesn't. He
He's
hasn't
not
left
doing
Mar-a-Lago in 40 some days.
It's been a while. He doesn't leave. But I think that goes to what I think Democrats are liberals in general should learn from Donald Trump, which is not very much. But the one thing we can learn from him is he found his base and he stuck with his base. He did not move a little to the left. He didn't move anywhere. He said, these are my people and I'm going to do the best for them. And he stuck with that. So that's the one thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be so great if the Democratic Party could also kind of own a lot of the, morality kind of positions that
Absolutely.
the Republicans do, in terms of just kind of owning even like the religious thinking that a lot of people feel like they have to vote Republican because it means some type of, godly accordance, when really thinking about a lot of principles that the Democrats have are actually in accordance with Jesus, or
absolutely
with helping other people.
And I don't talk about religion often because I have a strong belief that people in politics should keep their religion separate. But with that said, I have folks that talk about Christianity, religion, how the Democrats are blah, 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 blah. I am in church every Sunday religiously. I probably go to church more than the average American. I definitely go to church more than the average Republican. Now, with that said, I am not deemed Christian enough because I'm not walking around judging people and, trying to hang the vice president. We have to take that image back because they have taken it and twisted it. They've taken what it means to be an American and twisted it. When they talk about American values, American values, they ain't talking about people like us. They're talking about a family in the middle of Nebraska. And guess what? Those people are American too, but so are our families on the south and west side of Chicago. So are the folks in Los Angeles. So people in cities, we're American too. And some of us have accents and some of us have darker skin and some of us fall in love with people of the same gender as us. We are Americans too. Democrats have to take back the narrative aggressively. I think Democrats like to brag about bipartisanship and working across the aisle and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. What I care about is this is our platform. Are you doing your best to represent our platform? I don't care that you got to go out to dinner with Rand Paul or Lindsey Graham. Don't brag about that to me. Talk to me about what you're doing as a Democrat for Democrats.
Period.
Yeah, done. Sorry. Done.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go on all day about this, but
we could.
But can you, this has been so great having you on. Can I get a commitment for a post-election interview with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
And I didn't have to beg that much. Look at that. Okay.
Absolutely. For us, by us, baby. I'm always going to say yes.
You had him at can you? He just was like, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm absolutely, we're good.
And how can people find more about you, learn more about your positions on different issues and just
Sure.
overall, just, follow what
So
you're doing?
definitely DuPageDemocrats.com. You can follow me at KMB for DuPage on Facebook and on Twitter. I have an Instagram too, but I don't really use it. But follow me on any of those. I'm just being honest. Follow me there, and you learn a lot. I'm definitely, just the last post I made, I am unapologetically LGBT. I'm unapologetically Black Lives Matter. I'm unapologetically for women's reproductive rights. I don't apologize for being a liberal, and that's my platform. I'm here for it.
Love
And
it.
everything that you said that you are is what we need in politics
That's what I'm here for.
and in leadership.
Thank you. Thank you.
And from us, and I'm sure countless others, thank you for doing what you do, being in the room, representing so many different folks and communities and experiences. And it's needed, and certainly it helps for everybody. So just wanted to put that out there too.
Well, thank you. And
I
we all
wanna
gotta help each other.
And I just want to thank you for bringing your own table.
Always, always. And you know what? Now that, I don't like to say I brought, but this table has been made. There are so our organization now has other Black leaders, other Latin leaders. We have immigrants, we have, women, we have trans folks. We have a lot of folks at the table. We have folks under the age of 30. It's about taking all of us and working together.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again, Ken. Thank you to everyone watching. We appreciate you every time for coming and checking out the No Homo show. Again, get to know us more with adding a comment, liking the video, sharing it, all that stuff. Again, follow Ken.
And subscribing,
all
thank
the
you.
stuff he's doing. What'd you say?
And subscribing, thank you.
You have to
And
subscribe.
subscribing. Please follow Ken. Please get involved. If you're in Illinois, please vote. If you're in the 48th District of Illinois, please get to know Ken in his office, and please continue to have a great rest of the day, and we will talk with you all soon. Take care, everybody.